delighted to be here in San Diego at Launch Bio with Magda. How do you say your last name?
Marquet.
Marquet. And so I understand you're a successful entrepreneur and also an investor. Tell me a little advice you would share with entrepreneurs.
Well, you know it all, Judy. So she will send me the information about this event, and I had a lot going on today, but I knew I wanted to meet with you. I saw your bio, I saw your book. I haven't read your book yet. And then, in fact, I invited my younger son, who's 26, and sometimes I send him information about events, and he says he's busy, but he bought your book, and he's so excited, and he was here at 4 o'clock, to be.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thrilled to meet you, and I'm very honored. So I came to San Diego 32 years ago, and I am a scientist by training. I started my career in biotech when biotech started. So I kind of, was riding the wave of biotech. I started in France at a company called Transgene. And at the time we were making all the proteins by recombinant DNA technology. And then since everything already in the late 80s was happening in the US, then my husband and I came to San Diego because he had the opportunity to go for a postdoc at UCSD. And frankly, at the time, I wanted to be in the Bay Area because I thought there was a lot more going on, but we thought, I'll go to San Diego for a little bit. Long story short, we're still here because it's been an incredible explosion of new companies and new ideas and convergence between biology and tech and AI and you name it. So it's really exciting, and I worked for several companies in biotech and pharma, such as Amylin Pharmaceuticals, and then one day decided to start my own company with my husband, actually, which, husband and wife is like, okay, not the easiest thing, but it worked, and somehow we got investors, and we were able to grow the company successfully, sell it several years later. It's called Althea Technologies, and we sold it to a Japanese company called Ajinomoto. So after we did that, we thought, okay, what do we do? Do we buy a nice place on the beach, or do we travel the world, or do we really continue to be entrepreneurs, but maybe a bit differently, by putting together a fund, a private fund, and then help entrepreneurs start their own companies. And this is what we did. And sometimes I wonder if that was such a good idea, but but anyway, this is where my passion is, and I love entrepreneurship, and I love to really see what's going on. It's stimulating for me.
Yeah.
Very stimulating.
Yeah. People ask me, why did you start investing? And I said, well, you look for a reward.
Yeah.
The 30-year average return on the S&P 500 is 12%. Startups is 24%. So, but I like to do it because it was fun. It keeps you in front of innovative ideas.
Right.
And we hope to change the world a bit.
Exactly. And I think money is not, it's more a consequence than a goal, right? You learn, and you help, and you contribute. And obviously you want to have the 24%, but it's not, I think, why you do it when you invest in early stage, because it's very risky.
So what do you tell people about raising money? Raising funds?
Yes, so I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs now who want to raise money. And what I tell them, and whatever you do, don't be a victim. Don't say, okay, I cannot raise money because I am a woman, or I can't raise money because I am in San Diego. If I was in the Bay Area, everyone would be pouring money at me. But because I'm a woman, and don't go there. Just when you want to raise money and you have an investor in front of you, do everything you can to make sure the investor will be successful. Have this in mind. In other words, I won't tell you, I have this incredible idea and I'm going to cure cancer, and then you need to help me, because that won't work.
Yeah.
I need to turn it around, like, come to my team and I'll do everything I can to make you very successful. And if you have this kind of attitude, you attract investors.
Absolutely.
But you have to have their success in mind. And I see people don't quite get that.
Yeah, most people focus on how wonderful their Kool-Aid or their technology is.
Yeah.
And can't articulate very simply what it does.
I
remember being on the tech transfer committee at the University of Utah, and there was a physician that came in, and he knew I wasn't a doctor, wasn't a scientist. He spent 20 minutes talking about the mechanism of action and chemistry. Yeah. And I said to him, tell me in one sentence, 1 or 2 sentences, what this does. And he said, oh, it's too complex. And I said,
you wouldn't understand it. It's like, oh, good, I'm ready to write the check, right?
Yeah. And I said, how about it fixes a hole in the heart? You've got to be concise.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple, build the relationship. You don't go in and ask for $1 million immediately. And
exactly.
So what's important to you as an investor? What do you look for in a deal?
Before I answer this question, if you don't mind, I'll go back to your previous comment, because I'm a scientist by training. Mm-hmm. So as scientists, you're trained, but you have to put a lot of detailed information and kind of sophisticated slides. So you do these kind of things. So the first thing you have to learn, you have to be brainwashed and say, no, it's not about you, it's about your audience, and 5 to 10 slides max. And it's not just about the technology, but it's also about the team, right? And it's the attitude. Because my experience as an entrepreneur, having started some of my companies and then helped so many different ones, is that you have to pivot a lot. You start with an idea, and then it's very rare that everything will go according to plan. So you have to be opportunistic enough, strategic as well, of course, to really say, okay, maybe we have to change that. We have to pivot. We have to have a completely different, attitude about things, and it's very, very important.
70% of startups have to pivot. Viagra.
I didn't know.
Most of the technologies out there never ended up being what they've started out to be.
Exactly. I didn't know the number, but 70% sounds accurate. Yeah.
So any golden tips you would have for entrepreneurs? Or thoughts?
You have probably a lot more than I do. Golden tips, I would say, when you put together the pitch, it's not about you. You have to really, if you talk to a customer, an investor, or a future employee, it should be, okay, this is an opportunity for you, right? And it's kind of a different way of looking at the world. And that make it simple. Have a very easy business proposition, and that's it. And don't be too greedy.
Yeah, don't be too greedy. That's
the best advice I ever had in entrepreneurship was from a board member and mentor. And we were talking about, should we take this investment, and how about this valuation? And he said, let me ask you something. Never again bring this up about valuation, because it's not that important. Grow the company, and then if you're successful, you'll do fine. Maybe you'll have a smaller percentage of a big number, rather than if you're being too greedy, then you don't go anywhere.
Yeah, because particularly in life sciences, it's high risk.
Exactly.
High risk but high reward.
Exactly.
And so you've always got to remember those investors. And the thing that I teach people is nobody writes a check as big as would pay for a home unless they know you, like you, and trust you first.
Exactly. No, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yeah. So that's one piece of advice. It's not about you. And the other one is that it's not about you also, because you need a team. You need to really make sure that you surround yourself with people who complement your skills and go all the way. First it's an idea in our field, research and development, but then you need to go to the commercial stage, which is a completely different set of skills and execution, and deal with all the regulatory agencies and all the additional pressure that we have, and you know, it's a journey. So it's like I always say, you know, better be with people you enjoy being with and you respect, because it's going to be a journey.
Yeah, and it's not as simple as getting a divorce. You know, once you have investors.
Yeah, that is true. Because there's so many people involved, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Oh, you're so
Lovely.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Truly enjoyed it.
Yeah.